All meetings to order of Harlan Township Board of Trustees. Reminder of meetings being recorded. Please sign in if you have not done so. You join me in the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jenny, would you please read the minutes from the last meeting?
Board of Trustees of Harlan Township met in regular session the second day of April 2025 at regular meeting place of 8276 State Route 132. Trustees Edward Pajinski, Kevin Kern, and Marcus Shelton present. Meeting called to order by Mr. Kern at 7 p.m. Mr. Kern asked all present to stand and say a pledge of allegiance. Minutes read from regular session March 19, 2025. Mr. Shelton made a motion to approve minutes as read, seconded by Mr. Pajinski. Chief Pegram discussed annual IT contract renewal with Unified Technologies. Contract covers all maintenance and security for computer systems, including township email accounts, for $858.45 per month. Mr. Shelton made a motion to approve renewal, seconded by Mr. Kern. Chief Pegram discussed the mobile data computer MDC replacements. Chief Pegram recommends purchasing 4 iPads not to exceed $4,600. Mr. Kern made a motion to approve purchasing 4 iPads not to exceed $4,600, seconded by Mr. Pajinski. Chief Pegram reported that the tornado warning siren at Whitaker Park failed on March 30th. Contractor working on repairing. Chief Pegram stated it is very important everyone understands that weather alert radio and cell phones are most reliable warning systems. Chief Pegram reported ventilation system at Station 81 delayed due to weather. Chief Pegram reported receiving 100 smoke detectors for township residents. Chief Pegram discussed upcoming health and safety fair April 5th, fire levy question and answer on April 5th, and fish fry on April 18th. Mr. Mason discussed State Route 132 maintenance building damage when tornado warning siren pole broke falling into the building. Received bid from Brian Coomer for $2,500 to repair. Mr. Shelton made a motion to approve Brian Coomer to make building repairs in an amount of $2,500, seconded by Mr. Pajinski. Mr. Mason reported J&A Construction should be in the area within the next 3 to 4 weeks to apply the Mastix cracked seal on Wayne's Way, Fawn Trail, and Doe Court. Mr. Mason reported a pallet of cracked seal material has been ordered for walk-behind car applicator. Mr. Mason reported the AED cabinet installed at Whitaker Park near the concession stand. Mr. Mason discussed wheeled excavator that road department is testing. Road crew would like to test a Volvo 130 model and get estimate for cost. Old business, Mr. Pajinski continues working on the Station 81 renovation. Mr. Pajinski reported attending the Warren County Regional Planning Commission meeting. Ms. Williams discussed electronic signature for payroll and payables. Ms. Williams will continue to bring invoices, purchase orders, and other paperwork to support payments for trustees to review. However, when checks are printed, we'll have electronic signature. Mr. Shelton made a motion to proceed with electronic signature on checks, seconded by Mr. Kern. New business, Mr. Shelton asked when Whitaker Park will be ready to open. Mr. Mason stated restrooms are ready, just need to unlock the gate. Trustees agreed to unlock gate for season. Mr. Shelton received requests from Kevin Stouter about mowing Whitaker Park with increase to $160 per mowing. Trustees agreed. Community comments, Bridget Ballard gave trustees a copy of the tractor show flyer, also provided a copy of the cruising flyer for review. Bridget Ballard would like to have a event flyer with upcoming events in the township that would be put together at the beginning of each year. Correspondence review, Mrs. Williams gave written financial reports to trustees. Mr. Pajinski made a motion to pay bills, seconded by Mr. Shelton. Mr. Shelton made a motion to adjourn, seconded by Mr. Pajinski. Meeting adjourned at 7:30.
Any corrections?
No.
Have a motion to accept the minutes as read.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second. Pegram, are you ready for your report?
Yes, sir. So I've made some adjustments to the one that I had sent you the other day, had some changes. First item for the board tonight is our self-contained breathing apparatus, or SCBA. Those are the air bottles that our firefighters wear on their backs when they're inside an IDLH atmosphere. Each SCBA must be bench tested annually to ensure they're working correctly and be certified for use as respiratory protection. Also, the SCBA cylinders, the actual air cylinders, must be hydrostatically tested every 5 years. Both of those are due to be done this year. So my request tonight is that the board authorize the interim fire chief to have the SCBA's bench tested as well as the cylinders hydrostatically tested as required in an amount not to exceed $6,500.
I'll make a motion to authorize the interim chief Steve Pegram to have the SCBA's bench tested not to exceed $6,500.
Second.
So the next is surplus items, still going through the fire department and looking at items that we no longer use or we don't use very often, as well as the fact that we have a pretty large rolling stock of vehicles. The next item we would like the board to consider declaring surplus and selling on gov deals is the 16-foot John boat with trailer. We just do not have the use for that in our township, and we don't have people and the training to properly utilize that, as well as the 1978 Jeep brush truck. We currently have 3 brush trucks. We would still have 2 brush trucks, but it's underutilized and also the oldest vehicle in our fleet.
Make a motion to authorize interim chief Pegram to put the 16-foot John boat and the 1978 Jeep on gov deals.
Second.
Thank you. Next item is just an update. I wanted to point out, especially with the upcoming fire and EMS levy, which is all about staffing our ambulances. Monday, we had 3 ambulance calls in the township. All 3 were handled by mutual aid squads. So Goshen, Blanchester, and Clinton Warren all took calls for us. And in one of those calls, it took 21 minutes to get an ambulance to what was reported as an unconscious patient. Luckily, they were conscious. But just wanted to bring that up, that that's an example of why we're asking for the levy to staff our ambulance 24 hours a day. But that type of thing is happening more and more often. Tornado sirens, one more update. Whitaker Park sirens back in service. It needed new batteries that were probably damaged just from weather and the severe cold we had this winter. And then Steve has updates as of today on the service garage siren.
Yeah, so the initial plan to repair that was to use a siren that we had rebuilt. By we, I mean somebody else. About 15 years ago. The motor locked up at that point. It was taken to be rebuilt, put in a storage barn until last week, and taken out, and the motor's locked up again. So we looked at the siren that was there that fell over. Doesn't appear to have any structural damage outside of the cone that kind of covered it for weather. So the guys got it apart, bent it back in shape, got some paint. As long as it looks good from 40 feet away, we're going to be good. So Rossmans are going to be out Monday or Tuesday to test fire it on the ground, make sure there's no vibrations, there was nothing damaged when it fell. And then we will then make a schedule plan to get it back up on a pole after that. So we kind of came full circle back to where we started with the same siren. So the other question with that is going to be, that siren's no longer made. The backup siren that's locked up again. The Federal Signal quit making them in 1995, I told you. So apparently they're somewhat collectible. Rossman's did some looking online and people kind of collect those. With that vintage, this one's older than 95, I'm sure. Rossman's is estimating 800 to 1,000 to get the motor rewound. That's a ballpark. They won't give you any estimate until you take it down there and have a look at it. So the question is, do we want to consider doing that, or do we want to just throw this thing on gov deals as is and see what we get on the collector market? I have not heard back from the company that contacted me with the U sirens. So I don't know the status of those. He did confirm that they had several, but I don't know the age of them. They were functioning when they came down, but I've not heard back from them yet.
What would be a reasonable minimum
I have
bid?
no idea. I can reach back out to Adam and see what he found, or do some
Several thousand things.
do some searching and see what they're selling for on the collector market. What's your guess on age of that thing, Jeff? If you had to.
It came, I'm pretty sure it's the one that came to Mason or Deerfield, wherever.
Yeah.
And so
How
it's
old is it?
pretty old, I would say.
You got any guesses?
I mean, 1950s.
Okay. So it's
So the newer sirens that we have in the township were also from Mason.
Yep.
And those have been in the township
a
20
while.
years, and they were probably in Mason 2025. The mechanical siren that you're referring to was even older than that.
Yeah.
It came off the old Mason fire station. That fire station hasn't even been there for 25, 30 years, so long time.
It seems better as a collector's item versus something that we want to put up for public safety, being that age. So.
Is there a different type of equipment that can be used? I mean,
As far as outdoor warning?
Yeah.
No, so the new sirens are single phase and they're DC, so they can be battery backed up. But short of just
$35,000.
what's that?
They're $35,000.
Installed, yeah.
I didn't hear what the cost was.
So they're pretty expensive to install.
Yeah, the 35,000 a piece installed. And I will tell you that in other communities I've worked in who have much newer sirens that were purchased new, they still have the constant reoccurring issues with batteries and things like that because they're outside. And as much as they have a compartment where all the equipment is stored, when it's 20 degrees out or 95 degrees out, that stuff gets hot, it gets cold, and
Mother Nature.
other townships are constantly replacing relay batteries, etc. It's not, unfortunately, it's not an uncommon problem. That's why I always tell people, use the app on your phone, use the weather alert radio, because the outdoor warning sirens just aren't, they're reliable, but they're not 100%.
I did have a question on our 16-foot John boat. Do you foresee us needing that in the future?
No, and I think it's twofold. So if we need a boat, there are departments around us that have paid staffing on duty with personnel trained in boat operations that could get here with their boat probably faster than we could get a volunteer response to the station and get the boat there. Plus, then we would have the issue of training our people that aren't trained to operate the boat safely. So it's kind of a risk factor of, do we want to spend the time and money to train people to operate the boat for such a, I can't tell you how many calls there's been in Harlan Township where we needed a boat, but I'm guessing it's really, really low. But we also have 3-4 departments that border us that all have boats and have trained people that are on duty, full-time staffing. So I think it's a situation on the rare occasion that we need a boat, we call mutual aid for a boat, just like we do on a bigger fire or an entrapment or something like that.
And we don't have really a body of water here in
No,
the
it's
township like
mostly
some of the
ponds
other
and
areas
stuff.
do have little.
Now, we are keeping all of our water rescue equipment, so life jackets, throw ropes, the other equipment that we have for more like swift water rescue, or if we had a vehicle stuck in a flooded roadway or something like that, or ice rescue, we still have that equipment. We're just not going to have the boat itself.
We do have an inflatable boat that is kept on the trailer as well. So for anything farm, pond related, that's going to be easier to deploy because it comes in a bag. You can throw it over top of a fence. You can, a couple people can carry it. We've had a couple, one I can think of where we got that boat, Jeff says too. I was on one where we put the metal boat in a farm pond. And by the time you get access, get through the fences, get a spot where you can actually back the boat in without destroying the trailer on the way out, you've got a lot of time tied up. So, using the inflatable boat,
Makes perfect sense.
you take all, you have to take air cylinders but it's gonna be easier because you can toss that over fences and you're not having to try to get a vehicle. If it's wet, you're not worried about getting, this time of year, if you have you're not gonna get that in a farm pond because you're never gonna make it there. So.
Okay.
Yeah, last item is the firehouse ventilation system has been repaired and is operational. There's still an issue with the relay where it's supposed to automatically turn on with the garage doors in the front portion of the building. That's not working, so they're going to work on replacing that relay. But the system manually can be turned on. We did use it last week when we had a cleanup day, and the ventilation system on the back side of the building is working as designed. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, sir. Old business. Ed?
Hold on.
Well,
Sorry.
Skip right over me.
Steve's.
That's
Here's Steve.
Yeah, this
That
one.
hurts.
I'm sorry. Mr. Mason.
All right. The 2 John Deere mowers have been placed on Gov Deals. That auction will end at noon this coming Friday. They're both around $1,200-ish, give or take a little bit. I attached or put in your pile of paperwork the resurfacing bids were opened, and for Finley Mounds we were 45,471, and I believe that was Jurgensen. You have that in front of you. Kevin
Yes.
and Larry are going to the pre-construction meeting tomorrow morning in Lebanon for that. The ARPA reporting is due April 30th. Jenny's already got me the information I need to do that. Just put this in here as a reminder that those funds in that account do need to be expended before December 31st of next year, 2026. And that number is, I just had here, it's around 45,000-ish dollars in that account still. But we will need to actually have that money spent by the end of next year, just an FYI. The park was open. They had the Easter egg hunt there this past weekend, and the AED has been placed in the cabinet. So that is up and operational at the park. I also attached for you a quote from Rudd Equipment for that Volvo 130 wheel excavator. The salesman is at a sales meeting this week. He's out of town. He's going to look at giving us a demo if they have one at 130 or have one coming in. A couple that they have are 170, so a little bit bigger than what we were looking for. The total cost they have for the excavator and the mower head is $216,146. Just for point of reference, the smaller Mechalak we were looking at was $244 and change. So significantly less money for a machine that's almost twice the size of what that one was.
$48,000.
So a whole lot more flow. Total flow of like 75 or 78 gallons, and auxiliary flow of about 58 or so, 55, 58. So plenty of auxiliary flow. We're also looking at trying to get a field trip. They have 2 of these mulching heads running somewhere in Kentucky. They didn't say what part, the big state. So if it's somewhere that's relatively close that we can go to, we can see these running on a 170. The one thing we cannot demo is going to be the mulching head. Those are kind of like you buy it and you get to play with it. They don't have those to demo out. So we'll come back to that again later as we get a demo and get to do some more looking. Just want to give you guys an update on kind of where that stands on the wheel excavator. Any questions on that?
Will you find out about the getting Jeff float tire instead of the duals on it?
I don't know if that was discussed or not.
Yeah, and what we would do is if we got a little more serious about it and got down, we would just have them come in for a meeting and say, okay, here's things here's the options. Kind of like we did with the dump truck, where they come in and just, here's what we recommend, you down that list of things. So we could look at doing the single floats. That's available. And the last thing I have is just I'm going to request the executive session consistent with ORC 121.22G1, and I'll let you handle the details on that at the end of the meeting. Yep.
Oh, right now.
Just at the end. We'll do it like we normally do.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Brzezinski, do you have any old business?
Attended Warren County Trustees Association meeting last week, I believe. We had a finalist here in the township for our scholarship. There was 2 scholarships given away. One of them was for a college applicant, and the other one was for a trade school. And we had no applicants in the county for a trade school. But we had quite a few applicants, and gosh, it took quite a while. It took about 2.5 hours to read all the applicants, all their information and why they needed a scholarship. And a lot of it had to do with township regulations, more or less the politics in the township. And so it was kind of interesting to hear an 18-year-old's rendition of how things are operated in the township. A little different. But we did have a finalist. I don't know that everybody's been notified yet, but we do have somebody in the top 4 here in Harlan Township. And I don't think I'm supposed to tell anybody until they notify who all the winners are. Got our preliminary plans finalized out. Gave you guys a copy and gave you a copy, Kevin. The only thing we have left to complete are our mechanical drawings. Everything, we have a new plans examiner at the township or at the county, and I guess we have to be very specific. So I've been warned by multiple architects and engineers that be prepared. So I hope we've got everything that we need on this set of plans. And when we get our mechanical drawings, I'd like to submit those as soon as we get those back. That's all I have for old.
I don't have any old. You have any, Steve, old?
No,
Jim,
thank you. No.
Old? Sorry.
No, I do not.
Ed, new?
Yes, I'd like to go over our costs for our plans. I have an invoice here for $15,050 for our design services, preliminary design, design development, construction documents, mechanicals per contract, engineering services, and 20 sets of copies. I'd like to make a motion to pay $15,050 to Sabo Design Associates.
Second.
That's all I have.
New. Any new? I
No.
don't have any new. Community comments? Hillary? Okay. This time I'd like to go into executive session pursuant to ORC 121.22 G1. Compensation of public employees.
Roll call, Mr. Brzezinski.
Yes.
Mr. Harlan.
Yes.
Well, we need a second on that.
Second. Second, yes.
Sorry, I skipped that.
Let's see who you have. I lost it.
Is it off?
Oh, I didn't do that. Good. All right, so I will turn the audio off. Sorry, almost forgot. Saved me.